This is another off-the-cuff video, and I make these when there's just something on my heart that I just want to let free, you know? And this time it's on Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven. This game has just been hitting for me, which is kind of crazy because it's not a typical game that would hit for me. Why is that? Because I'm a very character and story-driven person, and the story is it's more about the lore than like the active story. And the characters are like non-existent. I could not tell you like anyone's name except Gerard and Leon. I think I had a king named Rhino. But anyways, so I recently started up a game of Divinity with my mom and some Discord mates, and Divinity 2 specifically. And like, it's been hitting for me. I've always wanted a game like Divinity, but like anime. I'm not a huge fan of the Western look. Like, I've enjoyed Western games, but it's just personal preference. But my point is, like, Divinity has so many choices, right? So many ways you can impact the world. If you kill this person, you lose this quest. You kill this person, let this person live. Like, your actions have consequences, right? And that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about Revenge of the Seven. It feels like Divinity light, like super light. So it's like Divinity light with an anime skin. And I just love the power of choice in this game, where you choose one thing, you lose something else. Or if you don't do something in time, because the clock is always ticking as you move forward generations. Actually, let me back up. So the premise, by the way, there was once 7 great heroes of old that protected the world. They did great, and then the world knew peace, and then it didn't because fiends started to reappear. And among those fiends are the 7 heroes, which are no longer the 7 heroes, they are now the 7 fiends. And you're like, why did they turn evil? Now let's go to our main characters, Gerard and Leon. Leon is the emperor, Gerard is his son, one of them, and this son's kind of a bookworm and he's not very strong. This oracle lady comes along and reveals this power of the inheritance system, and Leon passes, but Leon's strength is now inherited by his son, Gerard. So Gerard, who was originally a really lame unit, like just did not do damage, now is like strong and powerful. Then an X amount of years pass and the power of Gerard gets passed down to the next emperor, and so on and so forth. So every generation usually comes to an end after defeating one of the 7 heroes. There are so many things cool about this, but since I focused on the inheritance system, let's talk about that. I don't know about you guys, but I have been feeling like games getting a little dusty lately, especially in the gameplay department. It just feels like copy and paste, nothing innovative, you know, like I just remember the days of like Suikoden or maybe like Radiant Historia or Chrono Trigger, where it had like unique gameplay mechanics. I feel like those games gave you reasons to experiment. Think of Suikoden, there's 108 people to play. Can't play all of them. Okay, let's say slash it in half, roughly like 54 people to play, and equip them with different runes and build them a certain way. And you got really broken main runes. Think of the Soul Eater from Suikoden 1, which was incredible. Like just instant death, oh my god, sign me up. Or Chrono Trigger, where you want to mix and match your team and then see what kind of techs you could pull off. Radiant Historia, one of the greatest battle systems of all time. Line them up on a grid and just slice and dice them. A really fun twist on strategy. Well, in Saga, you get all the powers and abilities of the previous emperor onto the next, and through the generations crafting this really super broken character. One generation you're a tank raising sword and mace stats. Next generation you can be an archer raising your bow and short sword skills. That emperor will have all those abilities and then hone his next set of skills. I love that take on building a super broken character. Also, as you fight, you glimmer new abilities, so if you use a bow attack repeatedly, you'll eventually learn a new bow skill. A lot of people chalk this up to Final Fantasy II's gameplay, and they wouldn't be wrong. One of the designers of Final Fantasy II is Akitoshi Kawazu, aka the creator of Romancing Saga. I haven't played Final Fantasy II, but I don't think it's nearly as bad, as you learn new abilities rather quickly, and the game will kind of pump the brakes when you've learned enough abilities for that generation, as you can only acquire abilities usually by fighting stronger monsters. Okay, now let's reel it back to what I was talking about in Divinity 2, right? The power of choice. It's like Divinity 2 super light and anime. I love that you're given options. Either you could save this person or you could save that person. If you save this person, you get these things. If you save that person, you get these things. And I love that usually in games you want to say yes to help everybody, right? Yes, yes, yes. But sometimes in Romancing Saga it switches it up and you're supposed to say no. So my first playthrough of Romancing Saga 2, I went in mostly blind. Sometimes I had to speak to some of my friends. I was like, help me, I'm scared. I have to make decisions. Choice paralysis is real, y'all. There was a slime inhabiting a cave and you're supposed to kill the slime and only the slime. So you kill the slime and then you like hear roaring in the back, so there's like further monsters in the cave. And you're thinking, like you're given the option to, hey, do you want to clear out these monsters as well? Yes or no? The only reason I chose no was because I was low on BP or MP, you know, and I was like, I'm a fallback. So I fall back and I go get the monks. And then the monks take care of the rest of the monsters and they're like, yeah, we did it, woo! And I was like, oh, cool, I got the monk, whatever. And I was so curious. I was like, what if I said yes, if I did clear out the monsters? And so I Googled it, I checked it out. And if you clear out all the monsters, the monks are very upset because it seems like you took all the glory, that they're useless. And then you end up fighting the monks, you know, and then you can't get the monks. And I was like, oh. And this is crazy because like monk is like my favorite class of all time ever. In any game ever, always monks all day, every day. So I would have been devastated if I didn't get the monk class. And I think this is so important because a lot of us, you know, we look at guides, we don't want to miss everything, we want to get everything in our first run. I get it, we're adults, we don't have time to replay games, but it is so rewarding to do something on your own. You know, no guide, no help, it's your choice and your choice alone. Whatever consequences come, they're yours, you know? And when you make the right decision, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's incredible. And I feel like people rob themselves of that. I know I sure do. And sometimes in this playthrough, I did. Because I was like, oh my god, what do I do? And there just seems to be so many instances of that in Romancing Saga 2. Another one was I got... your girl spoke to this, like, sexy mage. This sexy, very clearly evil dark mage. And he was like, hey... just like, if you want to stop the volcano from erupting, just throw this ice shard in there, you know? And like, it's weirdly suspicious, right? It's just an ice shard, you know, it'll just freeze the volcano, whatever. But you do that and you realize there's like another town on the other side of the volcano who benefit from the lava, benefit from the volcano, you know? So you just kind of like fuck them over if you put the ice shard in the volcano. So, but, if you put the ice shard in the volcano, it won't erupt, which saves a different group of people, but damns the other. There's just so many choices like that in Saga, and so many things that change the world around you. So many events, so many missing pieces of dialogue. And it really does feel like a game where like everything matters. Are you a male or a female? Did you agree to help this person? Well, now this person says buzz off. You know, did you kill this fiend before you got to that fiend? Because that's another thing. So depending on how you go about solving certain quests will determine how you'll fight the fiend. Because the fiends, I think every fiend has two forms. You know, so sometimes you'll fight form 1 and only form 1. Sometimes they got a form 1 and form 2. Sometimes you just jump into form 2. And I just think that's the coolest thing ever. I think another reason why this game gets me so excited is because it brings me back to like a simpler time. You know, where you're in the schoolyard, you're talking to your friends, and you guys all do things, play the game differently. And then you can be like, oh, well, I did this, so this happened. You're like, wait, I didn't get this. Wait, how did you get that? You know? And I was talking to a few people who've played Saga, Romancing Saga 2 specifically, and just like getting hype about it, you know, like, oh my god, I found a mole person, you know. It's funny because someone on my Discord was like, oh, it warms my heart to see that you're just getting so excited over this like mole person, you know, and they've already played the game, so they know, and they were like kind of my guide in some parts because I was like, I don't know what to do, help me. The choice paralysis I was talking about. And that's something I really miss. I just really miss talking to people about a game that everybody's playing, and we talk about our own journeys of the game. How we got this, what did we do, what didn't we do. In fact, I embarrassingly asked Twitter for help because I got stuck in Saga. I didn't know what to do. I was like, help me, I'm stuck. And the community came through and was like, oh yeah, you need to talk to this person to get access to this place, and then it opens up like a whole ass new area. And it was like that kindness, that camaraderie that just like, I felt like didn't make me fall in love with just Saga, but just made me fall in love with gaming again. You know, just like that community aspect of gaming and how we're all playing the same game, but it's a whole different journey for everybody. And just bonding over certain things, arguing over certain things, like what we should have done, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I miss that. I like it. I also really think Romancing Saga 2 does a great job, like, challenging the player. I think it's tough, but like reasonably tough. And I think nowadays games have gotten a lot easier. And I'm not entirely mad about that because like Strange Journey, I'm sorry, after that game I was like, please give me an easy game, you know? And I thought Saga was going to be the easy game because I was still in the beginnings of Saga and I was like, wow, this is so easy. But when you get to the later levels, you know, and by later levels, later generations, you know, that, oh my god, that's another cool thing. It's like with each generation the game gets harder because every generation you learn stronger moves, stronger, like you glimmer stronger abilities. So the enemies scale up. But I never felt like it was unfair. Like if I had one criticism I will say is when enemies spot you and they like charge after you. So it's kind of hard to outrun them. Like, maybe I haven't discovered it. Let me know in the comments. You know, that community helps us out. But like, let me know if there's a way to like repel enemies, because I just feel like there's a lot of them on screen, and there is little way for me to like navigate around them. But back to the 7 heroes and the difficulty, it was really a challenge, you know, and it really makes you think who you want to fight first, at least if you have that prior knowledge. Me, I just like went in. And fun fact, I'm not gonna tell you which hero, but there's a hero that apparently randomly spawns in dungeons. And what this hero does is within each generation, apparently it will destroy a dungeon. It just like goes on a rampage and just destroys a dungeon. So the idea is you want to find them as soon as possible, but they're in random dungeons, you don't know. So I was lucky and they were my second hero I encountered. Just imagine you're going spelunking, you're just in a cave, minding your own business, doing cave stuff, and then there it is, one of the 7 heroes, surprise. Like, no lead up, no build up, no like hint about it, just, oh snap, these are not just lizard ladies we're fighting, it's a whole ass hero. So I got lucky as they didn't rampage a lot of the optional dungeon areas. But if you find this hero late game, they might have destroyed like 4 dungeons that now you can never go through. That's crazy. And I just really admired this like forethought of like making each hero fight different. There's like another hero where there's like no save point before going into it. So I'm just like, oh snap. So all the skills that you glimmered through this like very small dungeon area, very, very small, but like all that experience, like it's all on the line. Like, could you pussy out and like go back and save? You could, but did I? No. I love fighting the 7 heroes. I love glimmering new techniques. I even love glimmering evasion techniques. That's like another thing. I can't recall a game off the top of my head where you have specific evasion skills. You have 4 slots for them. So if you have a specific evasion skill, I think you 100% always evade that attack. Don't quote me on that, but you have a higher chance for sure. I love the tug of war between elemental ley lines. Ley lines can either help or hinder you. Take a water ley line, for example. If you have someone who is attuned to water, it will heal them, but it will also heal any enemy that is attuned to water if the ley line is active. How you destroy a ley line is by using elements opposite of that ley lines. While these villains are tough, I just love the satisfaction you get from beating them. And yeah, sometimes you gotta get your ass beat. Bakhon certainly beat my ass. I think once, maybe twice. Bastard. But I think it's important to reflect, take a deep breath, and re-strategize. Brute forcing it is not the way at all. I promise you, losing, it's part of the Saga experience, don't get me wrong, it pisses me off too. Like, I can handle losing, what I can't handle is when you have the enemy like in the red, they're almost dead, and then you lose. That will set me off. That's when I gotta put the controller down and walk away. Anyways, I just love Romancing Saga 2, and I really hope Romancing Saga 3 gets remade, like to the degree of Romancing Saga 2, because I just think Romancing Saga 2 is just amazing. If you're just looking for a really innovative game, a game that's like actually challenging, like I'm playing on normal and I'm challenged. Like maybe, I don't know, I'm a normie, but like normal, I was like, whoo, got me sweating a little bit. And you like Divinity, but you want a game like significantly smaller and just weeb, this is it. Like, look no further than Romancing Saga 2. The game has a ton of replayability, and I would just love to talk Saga with people. Like, what you did, what you didn't do, what you wish you did. I would love to replay it. I don't think I'd replay it back to back, because I want it to like sit, marinate, and you know, relax for a bit, let me forget a few things so it feels a little fresh. But also, I neglected to message, I haven't beaten the game yet. I'm on the final Emperor, okay? I'm on the final Emperor. I have 2, technically 3, more fiends left to go, specifically Rock Bouquet and Varennes, so wish me luck. And I know you're thinking, wow, you like this game so much that you haven't even beaten it yet. No, it's the choice paralysis. That's where I'm at right now. It's the choice paralysis. And you ever feel like you just don't want a game to end? Like you're really enjoying it and you're like, oh my god, I'm at the final Emperor. Eee! The nerves be setting in, and I'm scared for this final boss. I am so scared because like the fiends are already tough, and now like the final boss, the final fiend, I don't know what it is, but like, whoo, got me spooked. But anyways, do yourself a service, play Romancing Saga 2. It's only a 50 hour game, depending on what you do, okay? And how much you want to get out of it. There's a lot of optional stuff to do, so. And of course, let me know about your Saga journey. I love talking to you guys about this. Just, I want to know how it went, what I should look out for. Give me some like final boss tips, maybe, I don't know. I'm so scared. But most importantly, have fun, and I really hope you guys enjoy Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven.